Welcome back to Sprague Homestead. I'm Canaan.
And I'm Nikki.
And with Thanksgiving yesterday, we got talking last night about our various family traditions, whether it be for Thanksgiving or Christmas, from our childhood or adulthood. We all have a little bit different traditions of what we eat and various things. So we thought, let's talk about some of these family traditions. So I know when it comes to my family, turkey is always on the menu for Thanksgiving. There's no exception. We always have to do a turkey. Now the last 5 years, I think we have provided the turkey off of our farm. Most of the time we've hatched them the year prior and we've carried them over winter into the next year. This year we did a couple broad-breasted probably as a trial just to do them and to show the differences between those and a heritage. And I think the difference was pretty significant compared to both of them.
Yeah, if you didn't see that video, we had it out yesterday, which was Thanksgiving. But we're pretty much in my family pretty much turkey people on Thanksgiving as well. We're not real big on fried turkey. I know that was kind of a big thing. 10, 15 years ago, everybody was doing fried turkeys, and some people still do them, but not so much in my family. The big things are mashed potatoes, of course, yams in some fashion or another, and pumpkin pie. I can't stand it. So my mom usually does like a cheesecake because that's my brother's favorite, and then some kind of fruit pie of some sort. Usually apple is kind of her big thing because, for some reason I've never been a pumpkin fan ever.
And you got to have plenty of Cool Whip on it. Or whipped cream, but Cool Whip is the real cool thing to put on it.
I remember one year I made pumpkin pie for him when we were living in Tennessee, probably.
I think so.
And I got the generic store brand Cool Whip stuff, and I thought that was going to be the end of our relationship right there. Yep. That was it.
Yep, she learned that year. You don't do anything but the Cool Whip. Now, beyond that, I think rolls are pretty standard. I've always liked corn. Not corn on the cob, but just corn. Even though you don't like it.
I don't like corn, but in my family, we always make my grandma Stampers rolls. Like, even yesterday, Mom had made them, and I made them last year.
Yeah.
And then, of course, cranberry sauce. And my mom gets really creative with cranberry sauce. Some years it's got like apple in it. Some years it's got berries. Yesterday was strawberries.
Strawberry, yeah.
We've had mandarin oranges in it. She's done some other ones, and I can't remember, but she likes it, but she can't do the jelly. She always does like the whole berry, but doesn't make it from scratch. She does the whole berry and then does add-ins. So, some years it's tart. Like yesterday, I thought it was way too sweet.
It was very sweet, yeah.
And then Mom's a big gravy fan, her and Dad. So always got to have gravy. I'm not a gravy eater, but they've got to have gravy.
And deviled eggs. Don't forget the deviled eggs.
Deviled eggs. Always deviled eggs.
Yeah. And
that's for both holidays in my family.
And I know for my friends in the South still, they were talking yesterday, at least one of them was saying that for dessert, they snuck in some sweet potato pie as kind of it was one of the side dishes, but yet he went back for dessert with some sweet potato pie and some, I think, Cool Whip or something like that. But
yeah, that's really the big things for tradition.
Yep, it is.
And then, of course, in my family, we always do some kind of board game or card game or something. We used to do Uno and that kind of stuff, but the last couple years, it's been Monopoly, which is one of my favorites. And I would just like to point out here in 2020 that I put a hurtin' on the entire family. They were all out within, towards the end, they were all out in, one or two good turns of the board. Yeah. So I owned everything.
She did.
And I mean everything by the time it was over.
It was. She dominated that game yesterday. But I will say, there was one rule that free parking had like $2,600 or something into it. And I was sitting visiting jail. I rolled the dice and I just said, let me just say this. I'm going to roll a 10. And I'm going to get up from this table and go get a cold drink.
And my mom kept hitting the income tax and luxury tax, if you've ever played Monopoly. And so all the money in free parking was almost all Mom's, turn after turn after turn. Yeah. So she was threatening to do us bodily harm if anybody got it.
Yep. So I shook him and I just said, "Bah!" And what did it hit?
10.
And so I just got up and walked away because, again, I was about to get bodily harm, so I went and got that drink because I knew that
she was going to come over the table
yeah,
at
she was
you.
about to come over
My
the table.
mom takes board games pretty seriously when you can get her to play.
Yeah, I think that amount of money just kept me in the longest, but she had hotels on, I think, 3/4 of the board, so it was inevitable that nobody was going to compete. We could just keep going, but every turn it was like $1,000, $1,000, ooh, $1,100.
I've been thoroughly whooped in other years, so I was willing to take it.
yeah, I had the title for 2 years. All right, so out of the traditions out of Thanksgiving, let's jump ahead to Christmas. Now, for Christmas, we typically do a ham, but there's always a turkey lingering there as a possibility. So we almost do 2 different types of meats for Christmas.
That's usually because we have at least for my side of the family,
yeah,
it's usually mom, dad, us, and then my brother and his wife and their 4 kids. And that's if the oldest doesn't have a girlfriend or significant other. So it's usually a pretty big group. And yeah, mom usually does both.
Yeah, and then even on my side of the family, all of my mom's family live pretty close together now. And so when we went to visit, 4 years ago, we ended up taking a turkey here off the farm that was 25 or 30 pounds. We carried it in a cooler and drove it out to Colorado there. And it fed everybody. And there was probably a good, 10, 12 people there, I think, by the time you added my cousins in and that. So it was good. And I think the meal there is pretty close to Thanksgiving other than the ham. I don't know if there's anything specific other than you have the Christmas cookies and the fudge and the brownies and peanut brittle and whatever else you make for gifts. And
we tend to do a lot more appetizers too at Christmas.
Yeah.
Because for some reason the Thanksgiving meal is always at like 2:00, but the Christmas meal usually is like 4.
Yeah.
So we tend to have a lot more appetizers and stuff. But yeah, it's pretty close to the same food, other than homemade mac and cheese. I do that every year at Christmas. And then usually we do that 3-bean casserole that mom did this year at Thanksgiving. So, and then pies are different in my family. Usually cherry is like a mandatory thing at Christmas. We have to have cherry. And he still gets his pumpkin pie. But yeah, mom's usually really big on the big New York style cheesecake at Christmas.
Yep.
We don't, now for Christmas Eve, my family tends to be a little bit more laid back. Like we do pizzas, or like if we're all staying over there, like pizzas or sandwiches, real easy stuff because mom's going to do a lot of cooking the next day. Now his family does oyster stew?
Oyster stew is on my dad's side of the family, and I don't know if that is a German tradition, but yeah, that's there. And I'll tell you, I think I've tried it maybe once or twice in my life with that, and I've just never had the flavor for it. It's just not good to me.
You haven't had it as an adult. Maybe it'll be different.
Maybe I'll try it and be like, this is amazing. It won't happen.
And then we've always done on Christmas Eve, we've always done the traditional Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, the old... Was it claymation?
It was claymation back then.
Yeah,
and Frosty the Snowman, claymation.
Yeah.
Now, some of you guys in the Midwest may remember Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas. And my brother-in-law got me that on DVD maybe like 10 or 15 years ago. I had mentioned it and he got it.
We had it on VHS. Your parents had gotten it for us. And then, of course, when the last VCR died, my brother found it. On
DVD. And it's kind of hard to think. Now, most of my cousins, I think we talked about it one year. I had mentioned it. And they all were like, yes, we remember watching it as kids.
And I didn't know what he was talking about, because apparently it wasn't on the West Coast, or at least I didn't remember it. So a lot of times we still break out it's a Muppet movie.
Yep.
A really old Muppet movie.
It is.
And so we watch it every couple of years.
Yep. And I think we're going to watch it this year. That's one of my things. Yeah,
we haven't watched it in a few years, and especially if my friend is coming.
Oh, yes.
Get a kick out of that.
Yep.
And then I am a hardcore White Christmas fan. So gotta have Bing Crosby at Christmas.
We did that. No, we got a few years ago, we got like a 4 or 5 pack of Christmas movies, which was White Christmas and that. So we kind of watched one or two that year, and then we kind of pick one every year to watch.
Yeah, but I've got to watch for my Christmas every year. Nobody sings Christmas carols like Bing.
That's true.
Nobody.
That's right.
It's my favorite. I've actually got Bing Crosby's Christmas album. I usually play it like off and on the last week before Christmas and then on Christmas Day. This is by far my favorite. And I'm going to sound a little weird here, but we've got Kenny G's Christmas album too. And that's not bad. I don't mind that one bit either.
Yeah. I think we've got various stuff. We've got some country stuff. We've got some pop, same as that. And we probably have it all on random. I think there's just a category called Christmas on our iPod.
It is.
That just plays Christmas music that we kind of burn ourselves out on the last week leading up to Christmas. So
yeah. But as far as gifts, my family at least, the kids get gifts. So all my nephews pretty much still get gifts. But we quit doing adult gifts a few years ago.
Yep.
We kind of have gotten to a point where we feel like the greatest gift we can give each other is just each other's time and spending time together. So that's kind of what we do.
Yeah.
And, yeah, your family's the same way. Because they quit doing gifts about the same time.
Yeah. It just got to be so hard. You know, everybody's so far across the country and that it was hard to...
Shipping's expensive.
Shipping, and it's like, you know, you can just get gift cards and that, but it's like, you know, anymore. I think we've got to that point where just gifts really aren't the thing. It's really more about spending time with each other, trying to get together and have everybody in the same room to talk.
Well, I feel like Christmas gifts always become one of these things where you start one-upping it every year. Like, oh, I spent $50, but this year I'll spend $60, and so had a better gift, and that kind of ruins the whole meaning of the holiday to me. So I was really glad. And my family's always been far bigger into doing homemade gifts. So it's always been quilts and blankets and, you know, that kind of stuff, paintings and whatever. So when we do still occasionally do a gift, I think it means something more because it's not expected and not something we really do. But speaking of gifts, what has been your favorite Christmas gift you've ever gotten?
She asked me this earlier, and I really couldn't come up with one. So I think I have like two. And one is going to be from my childhood. So my parents got me, I think this was for Christmas, they got me the G.I. Joe Cobra base. And it was huge. And I remember getting that, and I could not wait to open that and assemble it. I think that was a Christmas gift somewhere along the way. And then as an adult, it's going to be here that Nikki, 6 years ago, before we built the shop, maybe 7 years ago before we built the shop, she found a set of garage cabinets on a Black Friday deal. And she said, what do you think about these cabinets? And so I really didn't have it in mind, and then I thought, yeah, those would be kind of cool. So she ordered this complete cabinet set that if you've ever seen any of my car videos, all those wall cabinets, the metal cabinets and that, was a Black Friday special that she got. And we put them in storage for like 9 months because I didn't have a shop at the time.
That has got to be the most I've ever spent on a Christmas gift, too.
Yeah.
But he's loved them dearly.
I use the heck out of those things. I mean, they are jam-packed with everything. So that's probably the best thing I've had, at least probably in the last 10 years. It's something I've used every single...
Almost every day.
Almost every day, kind of just in there. I've had so much in them.
Yeah.
What about you?
I had a hard time with this one. So I had one Christmas in particular when I was a kid that was just like the best Christmas of my life, right? I got a Walkman and roller skates in 1 year. And it was just like the most epic thing ever. We had hardwood floors in the house, and I would roller skate through the house. And yeah, that was pretty great, even though my little brother would steal them from me all the time. But as an adult, there are three things or three Christmas gifts, and I cannot choose one. It's and I'm such a dork, this tells you exactly who I am. The first one was my Ryobi combo kit that my parents got me 1 year when we first bought our house in Tennessee. And nowadays they come with like a bag, and they're all lithium, but I had the old school set that they were blue and they were the NiCad batteries. I think that's what they were.
Yeah, I think they're NiCad.
And it's got a heavy duty gray plastic case, and it came with like a saw, a light, a drill driver, and a skill saw, I think is all it came with, and then a charger and a couple of batteries. And I have completely worn through that thing. I don't think I have any parts of it left. We still have this, it had a Sawzall. We still have the Sawzall, and it doesn't work so great. And then I think we still have the drill driver, and even it slips a little bit.
Yeah.
Everything else gone the way of the dodo. Like, I killed the saw, and I blew up that light, and anyway. The next thing was when we lived in Jackson, Mississippi. My dad bought me a rigid compound miter saw. I wanted one forever because I did a lot of trim work at the last house. And in fact, I was using it today. It's still in pretty good shape. It needs a new blade, but it's been a really good thing. And then when I started baking my own bread from scratch, one Christmas, his parents got me a KitchenAid stand mixer with all the good stuff. So I've got a grinder, and I've got the ice cream maker, which we don't use as much as we used to when we lived in Jackson. But yeah, I'm such a Homestead nerd. It was like, tools!
Yeah. So take note of this. She bought me my best adult gift ever, and I'm not even on her list. So I clearly have some room to make up here as a husband. I never buy anything good. That's all I hear about. Oh, well.
Oh, that's not true. You buy good stuff.
I buy it the rest of the time of year, not just that one day.
Yeah.
Right. So now, hearing about our family traditions and the foods and the activities and that, plus our best gifts ever for Christmas, we want you guys to drop down in the comments, what are your family traditions? Now, it could be something from childhood carried over, something you've married into, or something you just found and liked. And then what are your best gifts? Now, they can be childhood, teen, all the way up to whatever, or now. But what is something that's really stuck with you that you really still got once, you use a lot of, and it's like, man, this is the best gift ever?
And you can include New Year's. Neither one of our families does like anything for New Year's, really. I mean, the day of, it's snacky,
appetizers.
Yeah, and watching football usually is what you guys do. But
or movies or whatever else.
Yeah,
we've done that before.
We're not huge New Year's people, but if you have a really cool New Year's tradition, share that with us, because we're always interested in what everybody else does.
Yeah, that's true. So with that, we'll leave you guys with the best holiday traditions from our family, our best gifts ever, and I challenge you, if you have Monopoly, invite Nikki over. I want to see if you can take her crown this year.
No, I got it. I had to do something epic in 2020, and it was the most epic beating in Monopoly I've ever delivered. Ever.
That's true.
Part of that was because my brother didn't come.
That's right. He's really good at Monopoly, too.
Cheater. He's a cheater.
Anyway, we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching, and happy homesteading.